Associate Professor Toby Trimble, 60-second CPD on Teaching and CPD, starting now.
When you're teaching, there's a really interesting thing to bear in mind. The more that you tell them, the less they remember. The more that you tell them, the less you remember. If you tell someone lots of things, you can't pick what they remember. So if you can find a way to simplify what you're trying to say, the chances they'll remember it much better. So do it. Challenge yourself. Find a way to make what you're trying to say as simple as possible to let them remember it, become engaged and retain it. The more you tell them, the less they remember. That's it.
Excellent. We have 14 seconds. A quick question here. Richard Feynman. Sorry, that's too quick a question. Richard Feynman. Have you heard of Richard Feynman? Physicist, theoretical nuclear physicist.
You're out of time, Julian. You've blown it.
So that's not fair. Toby got his CPD and I didn't get my question in. No, I did. My question was Richard Feynman. So he said, rather famously, if you can't explain something simply, then you probably don't understand it well enough yourself. And I think that's what you're getting at, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true. When you look at, in the work that I do now, we started by doing CPD and just by putting it on camera, and we realised that was a big step forward. But still, speakers, all of us, all subject matter experts, whether you're vets or other areas, if you're in science, if you're in technology, if you're in medical equipment, you will be very highly wedded to what you're talking about. It's called the curse of knowledge. And the more that you are passionate about it, genuinely you think the rest of the information is really crucial. Mm-hmm. So we started to work with clients and the people we collaborate with to make the courses and webinars and broadcasts, to script with them, to try and reduce extraneous detail. Because essentially, if you tell people a lot of stuff, you exhaust their working memory. And generally with things like a very wordy PowerPoint, a standard PowerPoint that's got 5 to 7 bullet points, the retention is about 10%. If you substitute that for something that's very visual, if you're using illustration, you're using video, you're using photography, you make it very visual, the study suggests that retention goes up to 65%.
Wow.
This is 3 days later. So these are in controlled trials. So it's 650% better if you make it more visual. And if you add into that just only telling people a small amount, giving them the gist of a topic, the comprehension generally goes up by about 40%. So it's much better. So it's a chap called John Medina. So he's done a great. He's got a great book called Brain Rules, 12 Brain Rules. It's called. It's worth reading John Medina's book. But what we found was that I started to delve into this more and more and more, and I was really fascinated by science communicators. So people like Brian Cox and David Attenborough, meteorologists, these people who are on TV and they're communicating science. And the more that they talk, what you realize is often they make it very, very simple, which is the point you made, Julian. So it's the trick of making something very, very simple to explain it, which is actually quite difficult. Explaining something, or like Mike will appreciate, if you want to make it a complex solution to a problem with engineering, that's quite easy. Trying to make a very simple solution, that is more difficult, but it's often a better solution because there's less to go wrong.